All right, we're recording. Alright, so hello, my name is Carson. I am with the City of Westminster Planning and Development Review Team. I am the project coordinator for the planning side on this project. This is a private developer initiated meeting. So this is part of their requirements, part of the development review process. So it's not a city project. However, I will be here to be able to speak to any questions or concerns that you have from city regulations or the process. So this project is requiring a couple of different entitlement applications. One is what's called a preliminary development plan and a comprehensive plan amendment. Those two applications require public hearings with City Council and Planning Commission, and any project that requires Planning Commission and City Council has to do a project meeting, which is why the meeting is here today. So with that said, I will turn it over to Marcus and the development team, and they will present the project.
All right, good evening, folks. I'm Marcus Pockner. We have a number of our team members here. We're going to go to large screen here. Thank you very much, Carson. And it is our meeting. We're happy to do that. I just want you to know, it's smaller room, smaller attendees, just we're informal, right? So if you have a question, just feel free to ask it. You can ask it during the presentation. So I'm here. I'm going to come to this side because the camera's here and we can see the presentation. So a little bit about Quick Trip, who's the applicant on this site. We're going to talk a little bit, and I assume I'm running slides here. Yes, sir. Yep, that's no problem at all. I'm just going to figure it out the first time. So this is our team here. So the applicant is Quick Trip, the owner of this site today. Our engineering, which is here, is Galloway, and our company is the Pockner Company. So we run community outreach and land use. We work in a lot of Westminster projects. We certainly work with Carson and the team at the planning department. So we can give a perspective, but we're here really to learn and hear from all of you on this project. This is the site, folks, that we're talking about. I bet you gentlemen know this site as neighbors, maybe to the east or west of this site. It's the hard corner, if you will, at Wadsworth and 108th. So the southeast corner of that intersection there. There's a large industrial building that's being constructed right now just to the immediate south of that building. It almost will form kind of an L shape around this parcel. So again, we're the hard corner there, right at that same intersection there. So again, we'll go through it. This is the site that we're in. We're generally called Mandalay Gardens. It's lot 2, just specifically on that application today. I'm going to turn her over to, I think we're going to go through as a team here, a little background on Quick Trip, just so you all know who they are. Yes, you see some Quick Trips emerging in the market across the metro area, but I just want you to learn a little bit and just tell me to flip the slide and I'm happy to do so.
So hi guys, I'm Braxton Key. I'm with Quick Trip. I'm the real estate project manager on this project. I've been with the company since 2011. Started in the stores as a part-time clerk, 16 years old. I worked my way up throughout the company. Now I get to enjoy this wonderful role. Quick Trip's main goal is to give opportunities to grow and succeed for our employees. I'm an example of that. I've been given every opportunity throughout my 15 years with the company to grow and succeed. And that's how I ended up here in Colorado. I moved here from Tulsa 3 months ago. As you can see there's our founder, Chester Cajo. He would always say, if you're not taking care of your customers, you better be taking care of the people who are. And we still hold true to that value today. And that's something that we really like to hold true to as our core as a company.
I'm going to the next slide. I see a gentleman I bet is looking for this room. So I'm going to grab it while we keep going with the presentation.
So moving on to our core values, we always want to be the best. We always want to focus on the long term. We want to do what's right for Quick Trip. We want to never be satisfied. And we also want to do the right thing, whether it be for the community or for our employees, like I spoke to earlier. Moving on. A few facts about Quick Trip. We've spent 15 years on the Fortune list of 100 best companies to work for. We're perennially listed as Forbes' top 100 privately held companies. We create an average of 20 new jobs per location open. We have never laid off a single employee in the history of our company, and we've never had a single closure in the history of our company that has displaced an employee. Average store manager's salary is $100,000 per year. Our average entry-level assistant managers are paid about $60,000 per year. And Quick Trip continues to contribute 5% of our profits to community outreach programs. Some of those nationally are going to be United Way. Folks that safe place. Locally, we donate to the Denver Police Foundation, the Third Way Center, Porch Light, and the Savio House. And then Quick Trip is also, like I said, is a national safe place location for endangered youths. We have a lot of that outreach going on in multiple of our markets. As a former store employee in Tulsa, we've definitely had a long outstanding partnership with Safe Place there and have helped many number of youth find a safe place to stay. And as you can see here, here's a few pictures of various outreaches that we've done. We had MLK parades, we do it in all of our markets, Veterans Day parades, Day of Caring, which is an outreach with the United Way organization, where we go out to the local community in need and we help out for the day in force. As you can see here, here's a few pictures of our stores. This is our new offerings that will be at this location. We have our new coffee bar, we have our new fountain and tea, and then we have our new free zoning machines. And then I'll give you a little bit of food. So we've got a lot of good pizza. Breakfast pizza is my favorite, so I put it on the slide for you guys to see. We have excellent donuts that we supply at all of our stores that are fresh daily. And then now we're introducing fried options, so fried chicken fingers, waffle fries, mozzarella sticks, various different menu options you guys can choose from. I'll turn it back over.
That's great. So just so everybody knows, again, we're recording this. I'm happy to take a couple questions. So as Carson said from the city, this is the process that we're going through, right? So it's kind of a concurrent process, but these are the next two steps we have to go through. First is a comprehensive plan amendment. We have to request to amend the comprehensive plan to allow this use, right? So as you can see there, where it's an amendment from commercial to service commercial. In the last couple of years, City of Westminster has adopted a new comprehensive plan, and that changed the process we were going through. So there's been a delineation of those uses now. So in order to bring this forward, we have to first amend the comp plan, and that would be a requirement to go to service commercial. That's the use that we're providing. Then after that, we'd have to do a preliminary development plan, a PDP. So that's the framework development for the site. Then actually after that, there's another step with the City of Westminster. But these are the first two steps, and we really go through it. It does go to Planning Commission and City Council. It's also important to hear from all of you about feedback on the site. So that's the reason for the meeting tonight, to propose the Quick Trip site. Just so everybody understands, this is kind of where we are in a linear fashion on the presentation. So we had a pre-app with the city, we go through that kind of formal process, the neighborhood meeting, and then it's a very iterative process, right? To learn from all the referral agencies, all the traffic, fire, all the different agencies that would look at that, would look at the industrial building that's under construction now, understand our access points, go through all of that. They would provide feedback, and ultimately, which many of you may want to know, it goes before Planning Commission and City Council. The reason for that, again, is because it's a comp plan amendment. So that will go through a full process to both the Planning Commission and to City Council. This is the way we do community outreach. We try to work most important or most focused on you as adjacent neighbors, right? We follow the notices, the notice provision of everybody there. This gentleman has the letter that we sent out. We want to hear from all of the most adjacent community members. It impacts you. We hope it impacts in a good way, and we understand that. We also learn the most. These are some of the other businesses that we're talking to, people that are in the area there. Just as full disclosure, I just did the rezoning immediately across the street, across Wadsworth, for Pulte Homes, which is a residential development. So on the southwest side of the site, on 108th and Wadsworth, there's going to be an expansion there, some duplex type homes there. So I certainly know this area and these landowners that are there, but you as residents are just as integral to that process. We'll also talk to kind of larger stakeholders, but this is where we're focused tonight. We really want to hear those feedbacks. This is a little bit about the comprehensive plan. Again, and the city could certainly do much more justice to this, but they went through a very long process to adopt this, a very inclusive process to go through it. It's called the Comprehensive Plan 2040. It shows, again, all of the surrounding areas. So you can see purple here, which is employment flex, right? That's industrial flex, what you would think of, what you see in that area. The building that's under construction right here, the brick buildings that are all up here in the Walnut Creek Business Park, and then actually over to Ball campus, right? All of that is employment flex, right? This is the node that we'd be seeking. It's commercial today. It's a standalone use. We changed that from commercial to service commercial. So it's always been different. It's a hard corner there. This area, as I was talking about, that's the site that we just went through the process of rezone and went through. This site we'd be going through really to, again, bring forward an auto use and change the comp plan. So you can see it's different in location today. It's commercial. We'd be asking to change it to service commercial to allow this use to move forward. This is a little bit about that process. I probably just described a lot of that. So it kind of goes through the current commercial use, right? What that allows. Auto-oriented uses, which this is, would be allowed as secondary uses. What we're doing is trying to make this a primary use. So that's why we're going through the change. So to change that, that's why we have to go through. I'll be honest, this is a very technical review process that the City of Westminster. They're very fair about it, they're very thorough about it, but because of this change in the comp plan, that's why we're going through the process. So this shows you what will be allowed, some of the primary uses that would be there, but again, we're bringing forward a PDP as well, a preliminary development plan, so it wouldn't be for any other use other than the gas station auto service related. So that's what we're proposing and why we'd like to do both of the applications concurrent. This shows a little bit about that PDP, that second part, right? So you have some trust, like, hey, you're not just zoning this to a commercial service, right? What are you actually going to build there? So we're showing you actually the comp plan, the site that we want to do, and a conceptual site plan that we would go through. Obviously, we have to work with the city on all the final architecture, all of those elements that go through the entrances, but we want to be sure to show you the preliminary or conceptual site plan on this site. So this shows it. I'm going to step back out of the camera here. It shows a little bit of this site. I was just over there. My guess is you are all neighbors in this area here to the east of the site or around the site. Right now there's construction of this building, an industrial building there. We used to be, Quick Trip was the owner of all of that site. So the big square that's on the screen there, we owned all of that site. We needed to bring in that employment flex use, that other user. So we actually brought this to the market, brought in this developer to go through the process, and they now are building that industrial building. Then the comp plan changed in the middle of this process. Now, we are coming back to do the comp plan change just on lot 2, that site. So I just want to show that there. It shows a little bit of the orientation, if you will, of the gas station here. It shows that there will be a right in, right out allowed along 100 feet. So right here you have an access point into here. Also internally to the site, you have come over here to Dover Street, and that would be a full access movement there, right? So you'd be able to access Dover Street, just a right in, right out. You wouldn't be able to come across and make a left there on 100 feet, okay? So when I say right in, you could be headed eastbound, turn right in, and you could come out and go eastbound again. You couldn't make a full movement there. You'd have to come here to Dover to make that left-hand turn, okay? So that's the conceptual site plan, what would be encompassed in the PDP. For folks who just walked in, just so you know, no problem at all, we're happy to go back through it. We have kind of a smaller group, we're recording this as the city does. We're happy to take questions, and maybe in the questions I'll go back through some of the presentation, okay? So folks, this is showing, we're here tonight on behalf of this applicant, which is Quick Trip. This is the site that you all are seeing under construction today. Right here's the large industrial building. The parking lot is just kind of getting built right now. You can see it getting poured in. You can see the edges of the structure. So we're now a hard corner of that site. We used to own all of it. Now we just own this site and trying to move forward with that application. This shows a little bit then, we just wanted to kind of go larger framework and then come specifically to the site. I'm certainly not an expert on the Quick Trip layout, but this shows a little bit of what we're proposing. So if you have questions specifically, again, very conceptual, but it shows the front of the store, if you will, kind of looking off to the west, and how the parking goes there, the access point, and then you'll see the fueling stations that are there as well. I'm going to show an outline. This is a kind of showing building elevations. You all have certainly seen Quick Trips in the market in Colorado, a very similar elevation, architectural standards that they will have, kind of a mix of how they show. So we can have somebody come back and answer any of those. These again would be in the PDP. First, you have to do the comprehensive plan amendment to allow the use. Then we go about designing the site and all the further elements that are included. This shows, sorry, someone's gonna have to tell me and help me on that
The
image.
gas canopy elevations.
There you go, that's the gas canopy elevations. So you're looking at the side just to see where the canopy is across the site. It just shows how those come in. So it just kind of shows the elevation of that for the canopies. I think this is a video, guys, so let me just hit that. Is that what I need to do?
Yep.
Convenience stores, a vital part of the nation's economic backbone. So who is Quick Trip? We're different than most convenience stores. We're not just a building, or gas pumps, or products for sale. We are contributors. We're part of your schools, volunteer programs, and your community. Our goal is to connect and serve neighborhoods with our most valued asset, our employees. Bringing not only high-paying jobs, but generating millions of tax dollars, but creating a sense of pride, respect, and family to every person that walks in our store. Impacting lives by providing a safe and secure environment to all. We believe being part of the community is more than just being a good neighbor. It's caring for each other and continuously helping places we call home. Leading by example. We celebrate communities and their victories and help them when they are in need. At our core, we are fathers, sons, mothers, and daughters. We are your community. Quick Trip, more than a gas station.
Terrific. So we can provide any more background on that for folks who came in. I think we have a number of representatives here from Quick Trip. My name's Marcus, and you can ask us questions. Guys, I don't know if we need to go out of that. There we go. So one thing I'd say, we'd be happy to host additional meetings. I know you all are kind of in the neighborhood here. What I'm going to do is actually just transition to question and answer, right? So, and I'm going to go back through to some of the earlier slides that folks may have missed when you were walking in to show a little bit about the process and the background on it. So, folks, we are here again to talk about a comprehensive plan and a PDP amendment, right, on the site. And we can give a lot of background on that. This is the specific request that we're making on the comprehensive plan. For all of you who came in, it always goes to Planning Commission at Westminster and City Council as well. So there's a long process in front of this as well, but we want to hear your comments tonight. So I'll stop there and just be happy to take any questions or comments, and we can bring other members of the team up to answer anything you have. Yes, sir.
On one of the maps, I think, second one,
Sure.
you showed from north down Wadsworth on that map. that little-
Maybe one
Right
right
there.
there. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Is that an entrance to the?
It is not. It's just, that's just showing a sidewalk connection here. It still would just be up to 108. So this is just showing sidewalk. You could turn here if I were a vehicle coming up Wadsworth, turning right on 108. You come to this site, there's a right in, right out in the middle of that block. I could only come in here, I could exit out this way, or I could continue over here to Dover, come out to Dover and have a full movement.
Okay, that answers it.
Yeah.
What about water mitigation? In Colorado recently, we've had some issues about water and fire. They run out of water.
Sure.
Put fire. How was your plans on that?
Yeah, gents, I may have Galloway or somebody talk to that. We have to meet all the water requirements that the city of Westminster has. It's a very good question. So we have to bring that water or pay water fees. There's actually, Westminster has probably the most sophisticated system I've seen in the metro area. They do an allocation left to remaining property. So we have to meet that standard. So sir, just know, yes, we have to provide that, bring that water, and we will have it at the site.
So there's a place the water's going to come from.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and that's a fee, you go through it, you purchase that, or you dedicate water. So we will go through that process. City of Westminster demands just what you're asking for, so we will meet that process.
My third question.
Sure.
The, coming down Dover to the south.
Okay, yes.
What would prevent large trucks to come through that
Good.
area? Because there's a 90-degree turn, 6.
So one thing at 96 down here is, so one thing I would ask, and our team, maybe if somebody could jump up, maybe how our loading, fueling, all of those things happen, is that restricted to 108th and Wadsworth? How does that happen? Is there a way to be sure that it doesn't head southward here on Dover Street?
And if
Yeah.
so, could we put up a sign? No.
Great. Yes, we most certainly can. I think it's a great request. We can do that. We have very specific patterns, as you can imagine, with the loading of our stores, and because they have such a marketplace, I don't know actually how many stores. I bet we're 30 or 40 north in Colorado. We can really work with our suppliers, if you will, about how our loading and drop off and the hours that happen. So it's a very good comment. Yes, we could put further restrictions on that.
Is Dover Street even wide enough for 2 cars to pass each other? You go down?
It's a great question. I don't think, probably further south, it's probably not, right? It's very limited there.
So it would be expected that the traffic on Dover is possibly going to increase quite a bit probably at this point. I don't think it's wide enough in some areas for 2 cars.
Yeah, and I think, just so you know, and I will have to do a traffic analysis, right? All of that part. So Mike, maybe you can address that.
Yeah.
And just feel, Mike, if you don't mind just coming up just because they're recording it.
Trying to stay off.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mike Talcott, Quick Trip. I'm kind of Braxton's counterpart on this. As part of the overall development, traffic study was done, and as more information was needed if necessary by the city, it will be refined again. With this semi-industrial use proposed, and then also with our development, Dover Street will be improved pretty much from the edge of the property line up, and that should be part of the current project. As you can see already, see how there's now 3 lanes here? I know it's not like that now. So that should be done well before we even come along to accommodate any extra traffic coming from those buildings. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why a gas station?
Sure. So gas station, I fully understand the question. The one thing I would provide just as a perspective is that Quick Trip was the original owner of all of this site, right? So they bought this site to develop that, but you actually needed to bring forward a primary use, right? We were auto-related use was a secondary use at that point. So we actually went out, brought in this use of the industrial flex and did all of that. So that's kind of the whole story, the history of the story there, and why we came in. Now, in the interim part of that, the city adopted a new planning or a new comprehensive plan. So now we have to amend that comprehensive plan to let the original use come in. Why an auto, pedestrian, or a gas station use there is because that is certainly a major intersection, an intersection that has needed that service. We do market studies and market analysis. This is an area where we saw a real need for that. I can certainly let Quick Trip talk to that, but that is their business. They did a full analysis and there was a big need for that.
There's 3 gas stations within 15
There's
miles.
more than 3.
I mean, 3 is on Wadsworth. Yeah,
Sure.
from 100 to 115, there's 3 to 4. Yeah, I think, there's 4.
Understood.
So why do we need
Yeah, come back up here just to answer. Yeah, no problem. It's okay.
So we're more than a gas station. I do want to put that there.
But yeah, well,
So
I'm not concerned
we're a convenience store that has a secondary use of gasoline sales. So we, like you said, we did market studies. We saw there was a real need here. So we went ahead and purchased it. Like I said, we were originally going to try to get it here. Comprehensive plan is going to ship out north.
I don't care where the store is, I don't want it there. I mean, that's, bottom line, it's gonna increase, we already got lead coming from the airport, downwind from Rocky Flats. This is one of the worst intersections in the area, so you're increasing traffic, you're increasing people, pedestrians hanging out there across from our homes, and not to mention all the things that come along with having a gas station across from you, increased cancer risk, increase, I can go down the list, right? Lowering our property value because we now have a gas station there, wasn't there when I bought the house. So, yeah, I have huge concerns. I don't know if I take that up with Westminster, if that's the right place to put it, but.
Honestly, we appreciate your comment. We understand that this is the right place, right? This is the city's actually recording this. They listen to the comments. This is where you make it. Do you mind, are you generally to the east of this site? Just trying to understand the perception of being right beside it, or are you here to the west across Wadsworth?
Straight across west.
Okay, straight across west, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I understand.
Airport on one side and I got now a gas station on the other side, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yep, I get that. The only thing I would say that the traffic study will go through that analysis. It was required. I would certainly say this is probably not leading to a lot of additional traffic trips, maybe pulling into this site. This is capturing additional traffic, right? Traffic that's already there.
Yeah.
It's going somewhere to get a gas station, so I understand what you're saying is probably not leading to that. Everything else that you walked through, kind of those concerns, right? I get that. I think that was the idea of looking at that analysis, what is the impact? This has always been a node for commercial, as you see in this comp plan designation there. It was viewed as such, but that's why we looked at that site. But certainly understand your perspective on it. Let me go back up to the comp plan. So this shows, this is the purple is something called employment flex, and this site at Park Corner has always been commercial. Now we would need to change it to service commercial. So that's the thought. It was always designed as kind of a retail commercial use. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, put in a restaurant, right? I don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just highly against the gas station
Can I ask that question maybe a different way, from
Sure.
the city's perspective? So what you talked about is profits for the company, or the company has a demand there they think is it, the company can exist. But
Sure.
From the city's perspective, looking out for the residents and stuff like that, is there a demand from the residents to say, hey, we do need another fuel station in this, 1 mile space? Like in other words, if you canvass all the residents of Westminster, what's best for the city, what's best for the residents, are they all gonna, would you get anybody to agree with that?
So,
Who's looking out for the residents, is I guess what I'm asking.
how we have to take a look at any sort of proposed development that is on privately owned land is what the allowed uses for them are and the perimeters around it. So with the current proposal, it does not meet the comprehensive plan amendment, so that's why they would have to do the comprehensive plan change to support that project. During that process, that's when we gather in feedback that goes into our staff analysis with the codes on whether or not staff is going to give support or not for the project.
So in that community feedback, are you actually canvassing? I don't expect you would, but is there, not a goal, but have you seen interest, do you want to express interest as a resident, not a business owner?
There's not been any sort of,
So you want to reach out, so we need to.
not as far as.
The only thing I'd add, and not at all, Carson can always answer that from the city perspective. The only thing I would say is, we started this process, right, because we're the applicant. So in fairness to the city, we brought forward the application that's bringing it. What the city demanded appropriately is a neighborhood meeting, right? So that's the process. So just to know, we brought it forward as the city would have to take an application in. So I think they're being very fair in hearing that conversation. So that's how we're starting.
Sure, and my question is also just get educated as well.
Yeah, no.
I don't want her to do one.
Yeah.
I had a couple more questions.
No, fire away. Sure, then I'll come back to you. Go ahead. Yeah.
My name's Ben Anderson, and I live in 107th Place on the west.
Sure.
And my main reason for being here is that I had problems with your map because it looked like this was across north, and I was confused.
Sure.
So, to clarify, and reiterate, there will be access from East Boone Water and access from 108th south.
You're exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
So-
And if they can leave on the
I wish I had a pointer, and I apologize. So,
Sure.
yeah, just to go through this, and I included this larger context.
Yeah.
Next time, we'll send kind of a larger map out, right? So, my apologies for this. This is Wadsworth and 108th here, right? So there, so that Park Corner, the access would be to go all the way to 108th, right? You're headed eastbound at 108th. About mid-block between Wadsworth and Dover, right, is the right in, right out, meaning I can turn right in, and when I leave the site, I can only turn right to come back out, okay? Then, internal to the site, here you can see in the existing, this is that industrial building under construction, right? internal to this site, there's a drive aisle, if you will, a roadway that takes you to Dover. You could also come here to Dover, as Mike talked about, this road has been significantly improved from here up. You could come here, turn left, go up to 108th and turn left.
Okay,
That's the only place you could go westbound.
all right, and the only, the entry point on Wadsworth?
No entry point.
No entry.
No entry point.
Good, good.
Yeah, no, that, you're absolutely right. I was showing just this pedestrian connection. There's no vehicular access point
Yeah.
off of
Are you gonna put a light on Dover?
That's my question too, because
Yeah.
they're trying to take a
I
left
think
there,
that's-
it's unlike
That's important.
Okay.
A lot of us in the subdivision
Go
go
straight.
Is that right? The Dover, I'll give you the, I don't actually know what the traffic study has shown. I doubt that it shows a light there. You do a traffic study, it's based on a number of counts, right? Counts being vehicle trips. If it meets those standards, we would have to put it in. My guess is it doesn't meet that standard, right? And cities are reluctant and abhorrent, won't add a light unless it meets that, because otherwise people sit there and they're like, wait, there's no cars on the line, right? So we would go through that analysis if it was required, but I don't think it shows that at that location.
My second question.
Sure.
I have rather limited interest in this,
No problem.
is how many pumps,
Yeah,
how many pumps do you have?
okay.
And how many parking places, how much traffic do you think are going to be customers in the village?
Great. Gentlemen, you want to address that?
So right now on the site plan, there's gonna be 8 fuel islands.
Okay.
And then, as you can see here, there's, let's say there's about 20 parking stalls that are gonna be available on the site. So it's basically the maximum that this industry is allowing for our site.
Yeah.
It's fairly significant.
Well, I feel for the people east on 108th, you may see it more. I would anticipate that we will probably end up with a traffic light on the Dover point. So that means for us coming, get across Wadsworth, and we'll still see a relatively short run before we stop. But I assume the city has.
Yeah, the city has standards, they'll tell us how to do that. We'll show based on our traffic trips, our analysis. Also, I'll just say, based on the industrial development, the flex industrial there, what the traffic trips are. So it's not showing a light on that. I'd be surprised, as you all said, Dover's not really improved south of that site very substantially. So I'd be surprised if it grows to a light there. But we're not showing that again, right in, right out, and then making them turn. You had more questions, sir? Yeah.
Yeah. A lot. I'm just gonna start. So, when they do the traffic study, are they including the light industrial flex buildings? They don't, maybe they do, know what's
Yeah.
going in there, and there's a bit of retail or something that's gonna be customers in and out that adds to it, like some office.
It's a really good question. You're absolutely right. You do something called a background analysis that shows all of the growth around it. You then also look at pending applications and include that. So there would be a standard based on that type of use and the cars it would generate. So it's fully included in that analysis, yes.
Okay, and the other one, I think we kind of, can you bring up your second?
Sure.
You have the second slide for a bigger view of.
Just kind of just
Going
one
farther.
Okay.
Second one.
I'm gonna go back the other way. I think that's where it was, but that maybe shows it here. I can talk about it on this one or.
Yeah, you had a better one, but I don't want to go up there with your camera.
It's okay. Go ahead, I'll hear
Yeah, so I'm in Green Knoll, so there you go. So if you take 108th from where you are and go over to the right, it dead ends in the Old Wadsworth.
you. Sure. Yeah.
I am just to the left of that little industrial park in Green Knolls. And if you come there as it is now, and you guys probably see it too, you drive out between 4 and 6, you'll sit there for 3-4 minutes sometimes just trying to get out.
Yep. Is that, I'm sorry, right? This is the industrial.
Just to that road just to the left.
Yeah, left like that right here,
You
yeah.
come out of there, and there's those residents that live right on 108.
Okay.
It seems like that might make that more of a I feel for people on Dover, because people are just gonna start taking that just quite quick and then coming back around if they're at the fuel station. But they also, we went to a meeting where they're talking about developing that piece of land on the very right side of 108, up against Old Wadsworth. If both those get developed,
This site here.
the city just no, it's actually
Yeah.
to the right industrial buildings.
Okay.
Is the city gonna redo this traffic study? It's not, even right now, it's kind of ugly out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cities are, it's amazing how much data they do. We do something called background. All of that can grow in the area. We look at that, and then cities update it. And actually, as we go through the process, we're just talking about a preliminary development plan. As you do an official ODP, you'll even have to update it then. So they continually update that. If somebody came in with a submittal on one of those undeveloped parcels, they have to update and go through that. And each time, the point is this use, this happens to be the use we're providing there. What's our impact and what do we have to do to mitigate it? Anything else would go through that same process, and whatever their impact is, they have to mitigate that as well. So that's how they look at it.
I think most of my questions are more city, so I don't think I have. My only one I have for you guys, gonna carry diesel?
Carry diesel and
All
log.
of these, yes,
Okay.
cars, not large trucks.
Not large trucks, it'll be restricted probably from access there for kind of large trucks getting into that site.
The gas canopy is not,
Yep.
and I don't know if any said what the gas canopy is not built for large trucks.
So this is
And
more.
you've seen how tight the site is, it's not, I'm not saying an errant trucker might not come in there, but they're not gonna ever come back. It's just not built for it.
And so I guess for one of my questions, where do you address those? How do you address the questions with more of the city approving all this type of stuff?
Sure.
They're great presentations,
No, no.
that's great, but like, how would a resident say, hey, city, you know, as you care for Westminster, what's our thought process here? Who do we take that to?
Yeah, absolutely. So on my on the project meeting notice that went out, it should have my contact on the bottom of it. So for any sort of planning notice that goes out to the community, you'll have the project planner's contact on the bottom, and you can reach out to them with any sort of questions or comments, and we can get you in touch with whoever the technical reviewer that may be, whether or not it's one of us on the planning team or if it's somebody else on the engineering team, or otherwise we can take in any sort of public comments, particularly for projects such as these that go to Planning Commission and City Council. So any comments that you have, and it's great if you can give it to us in written form, we compile that in a packet, and that gets included to Planning Commission and City Council for what they look at, because they're going to be the ones that are ultimately going to approve or deny this project. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. It's more city, because the other thing is, you know, they just built those three big buildings right up on top of the hills and completely change the traffic pattern or traffic on Wadsworth as well, depending on where those three buildings come. So, and all the apartment, they've changed so much in that probably square mile or linear mile on Wadsworth.
Sure.
It's not just this, it's, things aren't even open. I'm looking at, I guess, that apartment complex is starting to cool. But there's so much change happening in less than a year. I hope the city's looking forward at what this is actually going to do to that area.
Yeah, absolutely. And any sort of regulatory documents that staff works around are documents that are approved by our city council members and our planning commission. So reaching out to them with any sort of concerns for new policies or policies that you'd like redacted or for anything, that would be another place to go to for that bigger picture question that you're asking about.
Yep.
So concerns, we're supposed to email whoever the person that's on this paper that went out. And they'll
What do you
send
think?
it out
Yeah.
to you.
And
And then that's the only feedback from the community you're seeking is just if people proactively reach out to you guys.
So we can't really do much beyond going out and giving, hey, this project is happening in your community, and then requiring that they go through the project review process, which would, they would take public comment at a meeting like this and at Planning Commission and City Council.
By the way, just to make everybody feel better, if you received notice to this meeting, which you did, you would receive the same notice to Planning Commission and City Council. So this isn't a one-shot, we're not going to hear about it again. The city is very, very thorough. That's why you heard from us. They have a notice requirement area. We do the same thing. It would have the same contact information for city staff on how to contribute. It would say how to come sign up for planning here or public hearing and all of those things. So you will do it. The other thing I would say is people walked in, be sure and sign in at those sign-up sheets. we'll send you additional notice too. We honestly, just so you all know, we're not scared of that discussion to have. Give us feedback. If your feedback is we don't want an auto use, if your use is we'd like to see walls, setback, whatever those things are, talk to us about that. I will say the thought that everybody's talking about all the changes in the area is actually very consistent why we think this use is needed. It actually reflects a lot of and service to the surrounding uses that are changing and growing. We know, folks, we agree with you, there's a lot of changes in this area. That's why, we worked on this site here, it really does happen. So I fully respect that, so just know there will be a lot more steps. I also want to say again, this is kind of our meeting, the city doesn't go through all of those requests here. They give you a lot of forms that you continue to go through that.
Yeah, I'm most interested to understand how you're going to mitigate health and safety risks with gasoline being crusty and.
Sure.
So I don't know if that's something that you guys can address, what the risk is, if you guys do research on the risk, how you guys help to mitigate that risk.
Yeah.
Or if it's just kind of something we have to accept if you go across the street from a gas station.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to get, one thing I would say, just so you know this, it is something that we'll address and go through. I know Quick Trip would have a very, kind of clear distinction on that. That's actually one of the approval criteria that you go through is environmental mitigation, how that process works. So it's actually something we have to address affirmatively and how we go through that. I think our thing about that, and I would just say given this type of use is the additional traffic that is driving everywhere else to go to get to a different gas station, this is changing that pattern, right? So there is no doubt that we're not creating a new use, we're capturing some of that. So I think we'd address it that, but I'd be happy to go through that. So guys, if there's anything to add there, but that is a requirement that we have to go through on the approval criteria. So, yeah,
I'm
please.
going to elaborate a little bit more on that. Gasoline sales is regulated on a state, federal, and city level. We meet or exceed all EPA guidelines. The tanks that we install are double or triple wall to secure against or prevent any undetected leaks. They're fiberglass now. I mean, if you're going to a gas station that's been in business for 20 years or more, that's steel. That's going to leak. We don't do that. Quick Trip does not want to be on the front news about anything, any type of leak. That's a big thing. And I don't know, he didn't really, drive it home, but we're privately owned. The founding company still owns us. We're a small business that grew up. With that comes pride and ownership. And we don't, like I said, we don't want accidents to happen, but we employ the highest tech standards, anything that's cutting edge, electronic monitoring, like I said, the double wall or triple wall tanks that are fiberglass that will not leak. They're pressure tested. The installers that we have installed, it's required that they have their own licensing. That's all they do is install fuel systems. So they go through all the testing. The fire department goes through all their plans as well as the city inspection staff. I mean, we're the Rolls Royce of gas stations, especially when it comes to that. We employ vapor recovery methods that most of our competitors don't. Our vent stacks for the fuel tanks are on top of the canopy, which in this case is up against Wadsworth, the farthest it can be away from customer traffic. I mean, we do care about it. We don't want to be the bad operator, and we won't be. I mean, hopefully that gets you some bearing on it, but we are scrutinized over and over and over again. We pass or exceed every regulation there is out there.
So with all those regulations and all those parameters you put in place, is there still increased health risks over not having a gas station?
No.
No?
No.
Mitigates all risks?
You can't find a study out there that was done in this country that shows that it's a risk. There are many studies in Europe, I talked about this earlier with Stan, that are 10, 15 years old, done on gas stations that are 20 years old where they don't have an EPA. I mean, we all know government is looking at everything. It wouldn't still be allowed to be sold. But the standards of dispensing and storing it and all of that is so heightened and continues to get more stringent. And we'll meet it because once again, it's part of our business. And that's something that also with the slides, I like to show a lot more of the food slides. I was explaining to Stan earlier, one of your neighbors, I started 30 years ago. We made all of our money off gas sales and cigarettes. Well, cigarettes is a declining market. So about 20 years ago, we said, you know what, let's get into food. Started with the little roller grills, and then we said, you know what, let's do a whole kitchen. So we do made to order pizzas, sub sandwiches. I mean, now the fried food that he showed the pictures of, that's new. I mean, 7 out of 10 of our customers, because we do customer surveys, 7 out of 10 of our customers are not getting gas. But it's a big part of our business, because it gets people to pull in, then they come inside, buy our food items, keep our company afloat, and that's part of it. If you don't offer one of those main services, someone will go somewhere else. That's why we're a convenience store with gas sales. We used to be a gas station. Does that make sense? Yeah, I did want to go back a little bit to one of your early comments about why here, why this. We do extensive, 67 years in business at building convenience stores. We only started gas in the 80s, okay? And we added it, once again, to cover one more reason why people would come here. So if we look at the traffic, we look at the growth in the area, we looked at the demographics, we did all the census data, household incomes, household population, and identified it as something that we could be profitable. Now, I personally, will never get rid of it, but I hate the gas station because we're not up the street from you guys. There's some gas stations. I mean, and I'm not saying they do what they do. We all have our own place, but we are a convenience store with a ton of food offers that also has an accessory use of gas stations.
Other comments? Yes, sir. Back there.
I used your name like 10 times, so you guys.
Yeah, you know it. That was a nice talk.
Yeah.
But my main concern right now, number one, is congestion. And God help if there's an emergency. That road is too narrow for a fire truck, ambulance. If you're in an automobile and you get caught in that, or somebody needs the medical help, that's serious. That's really hurts me. I know right now, when I kind of go that way, it's a delay of that. Dover and 108. You wait, people are looking, there's all that rubbish up there on 108.
And clean it.
So that's my number one problem.
If you say that this image that was mentioned earlier, because it just shows that, and it shows those lanes there. So a new left-hand turn lane, which would be westbound, the through lane and right-hand. We'll blow that image up just so you know what improvements should be happening, are happening as part of this development, right? They happen up front. So we'll share that, hopefully making some of those improvements, because you're right, they're not there today, we're already changing that. So I get your comment, does it change on the overall traffic flow? We're also, the city does a remarkable job of looking at our traffic study, and they say, hey, here's what your use shows, here's where your traffic's gonna go, here's the requirements we need from you, the improvement. So we'll show some of those and what those improvements are, but the city tells us what we have to do on that, okay? But we'll share this for sure so people can see the improvements there on the over.
Yeah, it's bad now, it's gonna be worse.
Yeah, understood, absolutely. And I think this does change patterns, right? The building that's being developed today, that changes patterns. That's why the city was like, no way can you have a full movement there on 108. You have to go to Dover to turn back left to go westbound there. So, other questions, comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo Stan's concern. I'm not sure you're here, so you're part of it.
It's okay, please.
Yeah, I don't want to attack. So Dover back on 108, it's gonna be bad, right, but it's bad all over traffic, it's increasing.
Sure.
Have you been down on 108 though, south of that?
Yes.
And Dover.
Dover, south of that, yes.
And have you been down 106?
I don't know if I've done that, I'll be honest. I don't know, but I'll be happy to.
So I live down
Okay, great.
there. There are people that walk dogs.
Okay.
They walk in the street. People avoid them, it's residential.
Sure,
It's 25 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Just with the traffic that's increasing, not what you guys are building, but the big monolith, right, that's going in there. They're having a lot of construction workers that come blazing down that road, because it is a straight road.
I believe.
There are no sidewalks, there's no lighting, that goes in people's houses.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna be killed.
Okay.
And just like Stan said, that corner, over, down, swing left on 106,
Got it.
is not big enough for 2 cars.
Okay.
People come up and they take turns, and they just know it's an issue.
Good.
But if I'm seeing increased traffic just from the construction crews coming in there, and they're blazing down a 25-mile-an-hour road that people pull out on, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when somebody's going to get creamed on that everybody, but is there plans to maybe the city can get something in there to put a local traffic only sign? Speed mitigation, we see speed humps and roundabouts and things like that in places.
So I just want to say, I think, thank you for restating that and expanding. I'm listening to every word you said. I'm going back to that bigger map because it shows it there. I think what I was missing is this, and you're talking about is it head south down there. We had said earlier, we put up the signs and all of those things. Absolutely. Your comment's a great one, and the city hears this, and I would encourage you, make that comment, send an email, you know what I mean? We'll pass it along as well. Carson's hearing it. So not pushing back on that at all. I think you've identified during construction, I hate to say it, there's always some different variances that come out during that, right? People are looking for a shortcut over whatever it is. So, but are there other things? I'll bet there are, right? So let's go have that discussion with the city. Will they see it? I think a lot of times, you know, even when that industrial building, once construction's over and it opens, they're going to be a different path, right? And then how do we go to it? So we hear you. We're happy to participate in that. I think that's why you want an application, right? Meaning somebody there, the city can say make these improvements. So we'll go talk to them, not pushing back on that at all. So I understand. I don't know what those are besides signage. Maybe there's much more clear signage all the way down that, right? Maybe there's some kind of notification, but there's definitely ways the city certainly knows how to address it.
I just want to bring up real quick, it looks like that might actually be in the unincorporated Jefferson County area, so not only the city,
An agency, yeah.
another agency of Jefferson County as well. It just looking from this map.
So they'll make comments.
Is that an agency?
Yeah, so when we make this application, they're a referral agency. We'll send it to all of them, police, fire, Jefferson County, traffic, and they all give their comments back to us and say, this is what you have to do. So it's a very good comment. Our point is that Jeffco is also going to look at this, so we'll get double traffic comments, if you will. We'll get feedback on that. So we'll come back to you and see if there are any further recommendations on that.
So you're going to have another one of these meetings with just?
No, just our submittal. When we turn it in, then all the professionals of the city and the county will look at that, and they will tell us the improvements that need to be made. So I'm asking again, send in an email, say, hey, this is a real concern here, we want you to address it, and then we'll go through that with the city.
Send an email where?
Yep, right at the bottom of that flyer, it came up earlier, that's Carson is the city planner.
Send it to Carson.
Yeah, I would.
But I just heard unincorporated Jeffco.
Yeah, but they collect it, the city is running this.
Carson collects it?
Yes, yeah.
Carson sent it up to unincorporated Jeffco.
So we'll go through that.
I want to hear it from Carson.
Yes, so with the comments that we're gonna get in, we collect those for our planning commission and city council, but we also include the packet that the applicant sends in to those referral agencies. And we also have contacts for them, so if you'd like to, please email me and I can provide you the contacts for Jefferson County.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
You have a follow-up on that, or you're good? Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no problem. Any other questions or comments? We're happy to stay after if anybody wants to see some of these earlier slides. This is probably the best, shows that area. Are most of you that are left here in Green Knolls, or you're down here, right, sir, south of that, is that fair? And you're west of?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're at Walnut Grove here,
Yeah.
generally. This gentleman's here in Green Knolls, and then here. So we almost have the three residential areas. I just want to be sure that we're.
That's why I saw my story. I live in Green Knolls, and I see what happens on 108, people cutting corner and the accidents every week. What's gonna happen is they are, when they're in that gas station, they're not gonna get back on 108 to go back to the same time. They're gonna fly down Dover and come out and get on Old Wadsworth, because it's gonna be quicker for them.
Yep.
That's why I said I feel bad for those people. I don't,
Okay.
that live on Dover, because it's already bad when the slows are there with the white in that corner. People are gonna take it past the least resistance and fly down the road.
It's-
dangerous.
Guys, these are really good comments, what we want to hear, and probably what the city wants to hear as well about how you address that. So understood, for sure.
Last question, did you say part of the process with Westminster was kind of like the burden of a need to have it, or that's not considered at all? Like, you know,
Sure.
they're low, like right across from Stanley Lake gas station.
Yeah.
That's how close the other gas station is,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I understand from a profits perspective that it makes sense for you guys, but from an actual need, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just say the city will do a very thorough analysis What we actually in cities and so forth look at is what a comp plan allows, what a land use plan shows, and how you go through that process, right? So we are asking for a comp plan change. This use is not allowed today, so we're gonna have to prove that. So to your point, yes, that is absolutely part of the process. Is it the exact use? No, it's probably more service commercial. Is any of that service commercial? And in that service commercial, there's a number of uses that would be allowed. They would look at it from that viewpoint, all right? So we'll let the city do that, but you're right. That just shows kind of the analysis you go through. Again, it was commercial today, we're asking to change it to service commercial. So it's certainly a large part of that. One thing that I missed that it's kind of, it doesn't necessarily matter in this discussion. We actually took this proposal to city council in something called a concept review and showed them the gas station. And they said, great, understand, I'm not saying they said yes, right? It was a concept review, but they said we want this site to come forward first. So we went and did this site, sold this site, then the comp plan changes, and now we're bringing the original site back. So I just want you to know, we're not starting, like we've never had this conversation before. We actually took it to city council. That's why we've had prolonged and continued interest in this site, is because that was the first discussion before this L shape came in. So just to back that up, yeah. All right, you all been very kind. Thanks very much for coming out here on Wednesday night. That sign-in sheet, if you please sign in. All we're gonna do is follow up. We can send the slide presentation, anything you need there. And then Carson's terrific, follow up with him. That's a separate city email. You go directly to the city. Okay? All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, thank you very much.
You guys appreciate it.
Is the city stakes for the gas station? Yeah, the city making money off the gas station or off
I'm gonna, do you mind if I shut this guy off first?